What happens when a champion is pushed into a fight before they're ready? That's the exact situation Merab Dvalishvili faces as he prepares to defend his title against one of the UFC's most exciting rising stars, Umar Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov's trying to find that backhand. Oh,
he's going to sleep. He's out. It is another win.
He's got the neck. Keller's going to tap.
There it is, 14-0. Umar Nurmagomedov is the real deal.
Oh my goodness.
How about that? Explosion and a knockout for Umar Nurmagomedov.
It's a showdown nobody expected so soon, but it's happening, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's dive in. This isn't just another fight. It's a clash between two of the most dangerous fighters in the bantamweight division. Merab Dvalishvili, known as the Machine for his relentless pace and unbreakable will, is stepping into the octagon under immense pressure. He's not just defending his belt, he's fighting on a timeline he didn't choose, against an opponent with one of the most intimidating legacies in MMA. On the other side, you have Umar Nurmagomedov. He's not just another fighter carrying the famous Nurmagomedov name. He's living up to the hype. With his perfect record, incredible wrestling, and sharp striking, Umar is seen by many as the future of the division. His rise to a title shot might feel fast, but his skills have earned him this moment.
Title shot. I don't worry who gonna be these two TikTok victims. Doesn't matter for me. Who gonna be next?
This isn't just about who's better. It's about how each fighter handles the pressure. Can Merab overcome a rushed preparation to defend his title? Or will Umar prove that he's ready to dominate even against the toughest competition? Stay tuned, because this fight could redefine the bantamweight division. Merab Dvalishvili is no stranger to grueling fights, but even champions need time to recover. His last fight wasn't that long ago, and it took a toll, not just physically, but mentally. Between dealing with lingering injuries and wanting to focus on personal plans outside the octagon, Merab was ready for a well-deserved break. However, in the UFC, the schedule doesn't always work in a fighter's favor. The organization had its eyes set on a specific timeline for this fight.
Is that the plan, to do that fight? Like, is that the next fight you want at bantamweight, Merab versus Umar?
Absolutely.
Early 2025, the first major pay-per-view of the year. The pressure to deliver was on, and while Merab wasn't thrilled about the short turnaround, he eventually accepted the challenge. For a champion, refusing isn't always an option. On the other side, Umar Nurmagomedov was pushing hard to make this fight happen. His motivation? Ramadan was fast approaching, and as a devout Muslim, he wanted to get this bout in before the holy month began. Umar's urgency wasn't just about timing, though. With a reputation to uphold and momentum on his side, this fight was a critical next step in his career. Training alongside Khabib Nurmagomedov at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas, Umar has been laser-focused. Having Khabib in his corner isn't just a technical advantage, it's a mental boost that many fighters would envy. While the timeline might have been rushed for Merab, Umar viewed it as perfect timing to make his statement. This fight wasn't even on anyone's radar until December. It was a late addition to the UFC's 2025 calendar, which gave both fighters only weeks to prepare. For Merab, this meant adapting to a tighter schedule than usual. For Umar, it was a chance to capitalize on his readiness and grab the opportunity while it was still fresh. The result? A high-stakes matchup with two fighters coming from completely different mental and physical preparations. The UFC's decision to book this bout on such short notice has added an extra layer of tension and intrigue, making it one of the most talked-about fights of the year. For Merab Dvalishvili, the hesitation wasn't about fear. It was about fairness to himself and his preparation. After grinding through a string of high-level opponents, many of whom were former champions, he earned his place at the top of the bantamweight division. But with that success comes wear and tear, both physically and mentally. Merab was looking forward to some time off to recover, regroup, and enjoy life outside the octagon for a moment. Then came the call for the fight. With barely enough time to heal and properly prepare, Merab found himself frustrated. Short-notice fights aren't unheard of in the UFC, but for a champion defending his title, a rushed timeline can feel like an uphill battle. It's not the fight itself that was the issue. It was the lack of breathing room to ensure he was at his absolute best. Despite the challenges, this is where the mindset of a true champion shines. In the fight game, ideal conditions are rare, and champions often face scenarios they wouldn't choose for themselves. Whether it's tough opponents, unexpected injuries, or tight schedules, the ability to adapt separates the best from the rest. Merab embodies that resilience. Even with the timing far from perfect, he chose to step up. Instead of dwelling on the negatives, he shifted his focus to what he could control: his training, his mental preparation, and his determination to defend the belt. For Merab, this fight isn't just about keeping his title. It's about proving once again why he's the champion. Rising above frustration and stepping into the octagon under less than ideal circumstances is what defines great fighters. He knows that overcoming this challenge will solidify his legacy even further. Umar Nurmagomedov is not just another name in the UFC's stacked bantamweight division. He's a fighter who has rapidly risen through the ranks with a combination of skill and composure that has captured the attention of fans and analysts alike. Known for his incredible wrestling base, Umar takes after the signature style of his family lineage, but he's far from one-dimensional. What makes Umar particularly dangerous is his versatility. While his grappling skills are elite, he has a knack for controlling opponents and neutralizing their game plans. His striking is sharp, calculated, and constantly improving. He's shown time and time again that he can switch gears seamlessly, whether it's overwhelming an opponent on the ground or picking them apart on the feet. Of course, the name Nurmagomedov carries weight. Being related to Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the most dominant champions in UFC history, brings automatic attention, but also towering expectations. Every time Umar steps into the cage, he isn't just fighting for himself. He's representing a legacy of excellence. But with that legacy comes pressure. Fans expect dominance, opponents prepare harder, and every performance is scrutinized more than most. Umar has embraced this challenge so far, using it as motivation to prove he's not just riding the coattails of a famous family. He's carving out his own path, and this title fight is the biggest test of his career to date. While Umar's skills are undeniable, there's one question hanging over this fight. Does he have enough experience at the highest level to take on a fighter like Merab Dvalishvili? Umar has yet to face the kind of murderer's row that Merab fought on his way to the title. Merab's journey to the top has been nothing short of brutal, taking on multiple former champions and some of the division's most dangerous contenders. Each victory added to his grit and confidence, forging him into one of the toughest fighters in the UFC. In contrast, Umar's rise has been impressive, but hasn't come against the same level of opposition. This experience gap could play a huge role in the fight. Will Umar's raw talent and preparation be enough to compensate? Or will Merab's battle-tested mindset and relentless pace expose the difference between climbing the ladder and ruling the division? They call Merab Dvalishvili the machine for a reason. His relentless style and unmatched cardio are his calling cards, and they've left even the toughest opponents struggling to keep up. While many fighters tire as the rounds go on, Merab seems to gain energy, turning up the pace when others are slowing down. His ability to keep pressing forward, whether it's with constant takedown attempts, strikes, or cage control, wears his opponents down physically and mentally. Merab isn't flashy, but his approach is brutally effective. He smothers his opponents with non-stop activity, forcing them to fight at a pace they simply can't handle. His cardio isn't just good, it's arguably the best in the division. When other fighters hit a wall, Merab pushes through, grinding out wins by making every second in the octagon a battle. What sets Merab apart is the path he's taken to the top. Unlike many fighters who get a fast track to title contention, Merab had to fight through a gauntlet of elite competition. Along the way, he's beaten some of the toughest names in UFC history, opponents with championship experience and well-rounded skills. Facing former champions back-to-back isn't just physically demanding, it's a test of mental toughness. Merab's ability to come out on top in these matchups speaks volumes about his resilience. Each fight has added to his arsenal, sharpening his skills and boosting his confidence. This experience gives him a psychological edge. He's been in deep waters before and knows how to handle the pressure of big moments. Against someone like Umar Nurmagomedov, who hasn't faced the same caliber of opposition, this could be the deciding factor. Merab's battle-tested mindset allows him to remain composed even when the stakes are sky-high. What truly sets Merab apart is his refusal to break, mentally, physically, or emotionally. His ability to outlast and overwhelm his opponents isn't just about fitness, it's about willpower. No matter how talented or well-prepared his opponent may be, Merab has a way of dragging them into his kind of fight, grueling, relentless, and exhausting. That's the X factor in this matchup. Umar may be skilled, but can he handle the pressure of fighting someone who simply won't stop coming? Merab's unique combination of cardio, grit, and experience could prove to be too much for any fighter, even one with the Nurmagomedov name. Umar Nurmagomedov enters this fight with unshakable belief in his abilities. One of his biggest strengths is his wrestling, a skill honed under the legendary Nurmagomedov lineage. Umar has openly expressed confidence that he can out-wrestle Merab, even against the relentless takedowns and pressure his opponent is known for. But Umar's game plan isn't limited to grappling. His striking is precise and technical, and he has shown the ability to adapt mid-fight. He combines patience with explosiveness, making him a dangerous opponent in any scenario. Despite his confidence, Umar's lack of experience against elite fighters could be a factor. He hasn't faced the same caliber of opponents as Merab, nor has he been pushed into deep waters by a fighter with such a relentless pace. This will be Umar's first encounter with a style as intense as Merab's. The question is whether he can handle being dragged into a high-pressure, high-paced fight where there's no room to breathe. If he can't, the fight could slip away quickly. This fight isn't just about the fighters. It's a battle between two elite coaching teams. Merab's coach, John Wood, has emphasized using strategy to counter Umar's strengths. Wood believes that experience and relentless preparation give Merab the edge, even against the formidable coaching presence of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib's role adds significant stakes to this fight. His legendary status and tactical expertise make Umar's corner one of the most respected in MMA. For Merab, facing not only Umar but also Khabib's influence makes this fight even more challenging. Merab's team has turned their initial frustration about the short notice into a source of fuel. They've channeled that energy into sharpening their preparation and ensuring Merab enters the cage with the mindset to prove everyone wrong. This clash of coaching philosophies, combined with the personal stakes for both fighters, sets up a battle that is as much mental as it is physical. Merab's camp is determined to show that their preparation and grit can overcome even the most legendary opposition. This fight will be a battle of endurance versus precision. Merab Dvalishvili will look to impose his relentless pace, dragging Umar into deep waters with constant pressure and relentless takedown attempts. On the other hand, Umar Nurmagomedov will rely on his precision, looking for clean counters and opportunities to outmaneuver Merab in key moments. Fans can expect a fast-paced, high-pressure fight where every moment counts. Both fighters bring unique tools to the cage, making this matchup as unpredictable as it is exciting. If Merab successfully implements his grinding style, he could wear Umar down, forcing him to fight at an uncomfortable pace. The X factor here is Merab's unmatched cardio and his ability to maintain intensity for 5 rounds without breaking. However, if Umar can handle the pressure and capitalize on his striking accuracy and grappling skills, he could edge out Merab on the scorecards or even find an opening for a finish. Ultimately, this fight comes down to who can stay composed under fire and execute their game plan. The question isn't just whether Merab can defend his title, but how far Umar can go when pushed to his absolute limits. This fight is more than just a title defense. It's a clash of two fighters with something to prove. One will walk away as the definitive name in the bantamweight division, and no matter who wins, it's guaranteed to be unforgettable. Now it's your turn. Who do you think takes the belt? Will Merab's relentless pace be too much, or will Umar prove he's ready for the throne? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our post-fight breakdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you after the fight.